Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Tamara, and today we are discussing our May fantasy series. If you'd like to see this in video format, please head on over to Patreon. It's available right now. And guess what? You don't have to see any commercials. Don't forget, you can also join me and my two co-hosts over on the Book Club's app for even more book chat. Please subscribe and like the podcast wherever you're listening. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me everywhere at Shelf Addiction. Joining me today is special guest co-host and sister, Samiya. Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Glad you're able to join me. And we're going to finish up this book. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So before we begin, I just want to remind everyone that as always with book chats, we talk full spoilers. So spoiler alert, you have been warned. So we're going to do our usual. I'll give you the stats. Maya will give you the synopsis, and then we'll jump right on in. So today we are talking about These Twisted Bonds, written by Lexi Ryan. The audiobook is narrated by Casey Holloway. It was published on July 19th, 2022 by Harper Teen. The hardcover comes in at 481 pages, and the unabridged audio is 13 hours and 35 minutes. Samiya, would you please kindly share the synopsis?
Right, here we go. In this thriller conclusion to These Hollow Vows, the sexy action-packed fantasy that started it all, Bree finds herself caught between two princes and two destinies, while the future of the Fae realm hang in the balance. After Abriella's sister was sold to the Fae, she thought life couldn't get any worse. But when she suddenly finds herself caught in a web of lies of her own making, loving two princes and trusting neither, things are not quite as clear as she once thought. As civil war wages in the unseelie court, Bree finds herself unable to choose a side. How can she know where she stands when she doesn't even know herself anymore? In this darkly romantic thrill ride, the more Fairy is torn apart from the inside, the clearer it becomes that prophecies don't lie. And Bree has a role to play in the fate of this magical realm, whether she likes it or not.
Okay, so before we start, high level, not too much detail. When you finish the book, what were your immediate thoughts?
Ew. Ew. Ew.
Oh no. Okay.
It didn't give me anything I wanted.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Well, one thing. It gave me one.
All right. That's good to know. Hold that till we get to the... So for me, I was like, my instant reaction was, that was cute. Literally, that was it. That was cute. Because I also think some of the stuff was lackluster, and the author really made it easy for the character to do what needed to be done. She didn't have to do any heavy lifting. So I'm like, okay.
It was so just rode the surface level of everything.
Yeah. So I think the stakes, let's talk about the stakes of this book a little bit. I think the author wanted us to feel like it was high stakes and a lot of risk for Briella and for Finn and for Sebastian. But in the end, because of how she decided to end things, it was really low stakes when it came out. I mean, I kind of guessed what would happen because I was like, we were really like told in advance about her shadow self, which was, of course, a very commonly used trope in fantasy type stuff. So with that trope, I kind of knew that we were going to see her shadow self again. It was presented several times. So again, no surprises, as expected. Fine.
I was excited to see that shadow self, and they just did not give me what I needed with it.
No, it was
I was
lackluster.
Ready. Like she had me revved up and ready. I thought we were going toe to toe, but we didn't do that.
No, it's very easy kill. No real fighting. I mean, okay, and so this is like the craziest thing. So the queen, the Seelie queen, was the big bad of the book, right? She supposedly had so much power that all of them, all three of them were like, we can't beat her. She has so much more power than us. And then to find out that it literally just took a shadow sneaking up on her in her sleep. That's it. That's all she had to do. Sneak up on the woman and stab her. I'm like, wait a minute.
She was supposed to be so powerful and so feared. Like, she was supposed to be creme de la creme of evil. Like, and she was like, she was overtaken in her sleep.
What a way to go out. I mean,
It's like, are you
honestly.
saying that bad guys never sleep? Is that what you're saying? Because they sleep like everybody
They
else.
do. She had guards, but I guess she just walked
They
straight
fell
past.
asleep too.
And the crazy thing is with Bree's abilities, she didn't even need to be in her shadow form to walk past the guards because of her ability. She could have just walked in the room.
I know.
But I know in this case, though, she was still drugged, so she needed her shadow self. So that worked out because she was drugged. But
she needed it. I don't know. I kind of in going through this event with Bree and how she barely had any control of her shadow self all the way up until now. It was like, how did she like suddenly master her shadow self and she was drugged?
so the high priestess lady, I guess, is that who it is? What was the lady's name? Mob, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She basically told her, if you accept that darkness, it will serve you. So it seemed like no training required. Just accept it and it will help you.
I guess her lack of control. Yeah, because she didn't accept it all the time before then.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of like the last call, like, do or die. I'm going to accept you. You're my friend.
It was weird though. So like we saw the shadow earlier in the book, in the point that we saw the shadow before, the shadow, her that is herself essentially. Because when we hear about shadow self, it's like all the bad stuff you think, all the negative things you don't want to say or don't do or think. That's in your quote unquote shadow self. So her shadow self decides, I hate that bee in the other room over there because I'm jealous of her and Finn's relationship. So I'm gonna march myself over there and chop off her hair.
I'm chop her hair off. She gonna look just like me.
Chop her hair off. And then she's like, so she does that and she's thinking she's dreaming, and then she marches herself back in there. She eyeing Finn and she like, sexy.
Oh yes. I was like, oh, is she about to turn up the heat in this book? Oh, I rocked my hip. I was like, girl, what you doing? And it was like, wake up.
Oh my God. It was so crazy because Finn is like all into it. Then he looks at the bed and he like, whoa.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
You're in the bed over there. What's happening?
Wait a minute. What's going on here?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was
hilarious.
Like, I thought she was gonna. Okay. Okay. For Bree, I just thought she was gonna have like a super major strong development, and I didn't get that. She was still teetering along, tiptoeing.
I think my whole problem with her, I said on Discord that I think my biggest problem with her was her constant nonstop self-deprecation and self-doubt. And it's like, okay, when we get to a certain point in the book, we realize what's what. We know what is supposed to happen. She knows who she is and what she's supposed to be doing. And she still is like ragging on herself. I'm like, that is so tired.
It was very tiresome. And it was like, come on, girl. You're determining that you're either going to have to rule or you're going to have to figure out a way, either give it up or have someone else give it up. But there is going to be a choice. And she was, everybody must stay the same. Nobody must stop for nobody, not even Bash.
See, this is why I don't
Sebastian.
understand. I'm like, F Bash, you don't even like him.
I wanted her to get Sebastian like she did the queen. Like, he's sleeping cozy, something. And she just off him, I
Yeah.
knew she was gonna do it, but she
She didn't. She
ugh,
didn't. And I think also I kind of have a gripe about Bash's character because while Gabriella was very wish-washy about him, she was very flip-floppy. Like she understood that she was not in love with him in the way that she should be. So
okay.
she understood that. But she was very flip-floppy about his level of how much wrong he did, right? She gave him a lot of passes, gave him a lot of excuses, and the
Okay.
author I think made an error in judgment by making him good. Like why couldn't you just let him be bad? He's the kind of guy where he because we could see his emotions through the bond. So it's not like he's purposefully being deceitful. He thinks he's doing the right thing. He thinks he's in love with her, even though everything he's doing is incorrect. And then it makes me hate him. But I think the author was trying to make us not feel that way toward him.
Well, I will say I did have a soft spot for him, but I think in this book, as he steadfast so well, he became irritating for me. It was like, oh my god,
He is the
ew,
worst. He was
ew,
gross.
ew, ew. But I will say, I knew she was gonna get with Finn. I knew she was gonna keep him.
Yeah.
It was too much when
Yeah.
they first met, and they mentioned that again this time around. They mentioned it. He
Yeah.
just had to. Ooh, that was her squeeze right there.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, Sebastian, so these are the things that I find wrong with him. And these are things that are bad in relationships, right? He knew that she basically said, "So I don't want to be bonded with you, but you're going to refuse to let it go. You're going to refuse." And he's like, "Yeah, you're stuck with me. I saw you first. I'm a big fat
I
kid."
had you first. I believe that's
Yes.
what he said. And I was
Yeah.
like, hold up,
That's crazy.
bruh.
That's
No,
crazy.
no.
More reasons why he is not good. And I really struggle with him being so. I mean, he was eternally gray. He's the perfect gray character. He's not like evil bad, but he's not good either.
He was right in the middle the
Yeah.
whole time. And I feel like even when people are right in the middle, like you never know where their boundaries will end up. Like
Hmm.
whatever you would guess would be a hard stop for them, maybe an easy go. And it's
Hmm.
like, how do you put your trust in a partner where you don't know where the hard stops are, where you don't know where the easy
No.
goes are? Like, how do you do that? So I had a
No.
distaste for him
Hmm.
it with that in thought, you know. And so then this was Finn's book.
Mm.
This is definitely Finn's book because he was everywhere. The entire book should have been called Gabriella and Finn.
So let me ask you this. So we talked about this last time. Finn is old. He's very old. Gabriella is like 17, right?
The
Something. She's
old
not even
man.
18 yet because they were talking about how her powers would have come to her anyway after she turned 18. So she is not 18 yet. What do you think about that? I mean, Finn seems
I
like a
thought they
good
would have
guy.
made it. I would have guessed that they would have gave it a longer time gap than that.
Hmm.
But it did aggravate. And it aggravated me because all the old men wanted her. Every old man she
Micah
came
wanted
past,
her. He was like, and
all
now
the
that,
old men, and he was older than Finn, and he
yeah,
like, oh yeah,
uh,
will you
uh,
have me? What?
no, no,
What?
he
Crusty Dutch
look,
Odie?
he got friend zoned pretty quickly, but he tried it. He tried it
He was still trying on the last. What was that?
on the
On the
day.
outro on the last chapter in the last chapter of the book. He's still trying. If
Yeah,
you
she
change
was.
your mind.
He was look, he
Like, "Ugh,
basically was like, "Do you want a getaway car? I got one. We
I
can."
have one for you. I got this smooth riding Cadillac, baby girl."
No,
I'm like, "Ew."
and she just laughed, and she calls him her best friend.
That was another part of the ew, ew.
But to
Why do
be
all these
fair, it
people
was 6 months later. Maybe they could be best
she's
friends
like
6 months later.
she's like, "He tried to take the place of what's Preetha. He wants to be my best friend too. Somebody would be mad." I'm like, "Oh my god, why is everybody your best friend?" But she's still 12, that's why.
Yeah, she's young. She's very young, and it shows. The characters I liked in general, right? Like, I liked Preetha. We got a little bit of the little girl who could see the visions.
Oh,
Um,
baby seer, yes.
yes, we just got a little bit of that. I mean, but basically, this whole book was really, like you said, it was Finn, Bree, and Sebastian, and the people that are kind of circling around them. Um, Even the villain, we didn't get any FaceTime with the villain until the end.
Yeah, that took a long time. Oh, that took a long time.
It was so okay. So the last first book, you said it was a very slow start. Did you feel this way again?
Um, no, I think it was this time around, it was a lot of beating around all the bushes that there are.
Hmm.
They were in the Payland just beating all the bushes. "I'm gonna win this war. I'm gonna win this battle." Bush, bush, bush.
Like whacking all the bushes.
Just I couldn't. So that's what it was for me. It was like, "Oh my, just hurry up, hurry up." I turned on the audiobook. I had to put that on like 1.75. They sound like chipmunks.
Really? I listened at 2.0. I had no
She
problem.
she sound like a chipmunk to me. Then I had to go back to my, thingy digger.
Oh, the Kindle.
Yeah, then I went back to the Kindle because that was too much. I couldn't take the chip. And then, like, it was just a drag.
Oh no. Okay,
But it
so
was okay because, it was still moving along.
yeah, the pace, I feel like the pacing was consistent for me.
It
Nothing
was
was
more.
faster than the or slower. Like I couldn't say this part was fast, this part was slow.
No,
It
it
seemed
wasn't
like we
any of
were
that.
at a steady trot. We were trotting
Yep.
along, but I still feel like I saw some more similarities between Sarah J. Maas books and this book. So I still saw some of that.
I have to pick up those books so I can see similarities.
But the where this book failed, and that is I guess my problem, because is this YA or not? So some people say it's young adult, some people just say fantasy romance, some people, so yes and no, some people are saying young adult, some people aren't. I know for Goodreads this was a nominee for the young adult fantasy and science fiction category, and that showed with the romance sections. I felt like people are saying that this book is supposed to be spicy, right? Like we're led to believe it's supposed to have some heat. And the heat level, if I had to say like on a scale of 1 to 10, it was like 1.5. There was
The
like
heat
nothing.
the heat was like those little, what are those little pepperoncinis?
Super mild. It's almost like no spice at all.
It was just I don't know. I just thought, okay, granted, I felt like at a certain point, like when she was streaming, I was like, "Oh shoot, she about to rev it up. Like we about to be young adult for real." Like
When the author gets right up to the line, she backs off.
she don't back off, she turns off.
Yeah.
It's like, "Go, go, go, stop."
Yeah.
Which
Even when her and Finn finally hooked up, like, out, what were they? They just got out the river or some shit. I don't know what the hell they was doing. They was like in the grass somewhere on their little track, and I'm like, okay, this isn't very spicy, but okay, I guess for her, I guess it is.
it was real spicy for her. She's she's 12.
I'm like,
Like, it was
this guy, I mean, he had more flirty comments that were kind of saucy than what actually went down when they actually got to business. So,
I don't know. I just feel like for him to be so old, like even his flirt and his little spice was like
It was very mild. It was like, let me turn it all the way down for this child who doesn't
Bro,
know
you should have
anything.
better lines than that. You should have way
Yeah.
better lines than that.
I don't know. But see, that is where it is very different from Court of Thorns and Roses. Like book 1 of that was pretty mild, but book 2, man, that spice level is ratcheted up like it's like, "Oh my. Okay. Okay." This one not so much. So, I think, in typical YA fashion, if this is actually YA, which it appears to be, then I guess it was fine. Again,
Yeah.
fine.
I think it was appropriate
Mhm.
for them for the YA community because if you give them too much, then it becomes severely inappropriate.
I get the point, right? I get what she was striving for, and I think she met that. But as someone who reads a lot more spicier stuff, I think that I was kind of deceived in the comparisons that they were making to other series.
Listen, they described it as darkly romantic.
It is not
Okay.
romantic. What about any of
It
that shit is romantic? What?
right. Nothing. Nothing. It was okay.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it didn't do what it was supposed to do in the dark or the romance category. Because
Yeah.
I mean, when I think of dark, like it's some pretty gory stuff that can happen, or not even gory, just um, it's not
I well, does the
flowers
author
and
no? Like, did the author think that her and not Finn, her and Sebastian being drugged is dark? Yeah, I guess it's dark, but we didn't really.
maybe it's the use of the shadow, her shadow self, which clarifies, which makes it dark.
I don't
Shadows are
know.
dark.
Her
Shadows.
shadow self was like like okay, her shadow self was like a child, like eating the candy when no one's looking. Like it wasn't even doing bad stuff, really. Like
She was like, "I'm mad at you. I'm gonna get you."
the shadow came out and helped her when she was captured that one time by the guards. It helped her escape,
The
but
shadow
that
was
was
the realest side of her because
yeah.
any other like if she was doing these things herself, she would say, "Oh, I don't want to hurt anyone. No one needs to be hurt," you
Oh my
know.
god, what she was doing right up to the end
Well, you
too.
know, I mean, she did it in every situation, every single situation. So her
Yeah.
shadow self comes along. It's like, girl, sit down. I got this.
Yeah, I'm gonna take some people out.
Let's get
Exactly.
this done. We
hmm
got business to do.
So I guess maybe that's what they consider dark or something. I guess. I don't know.
Or the fact that it was when she was sleeping is when all the juice went down and we just didn't know about it. Like,
hmm
oh, she was asleep when that happened? Oh,
hmm
all those people end up dead? How they end up dead? I don't know. I was sleeping.
I woke up and I was free. I don't know. Which is
It's just
weird. You I guess
I
it
just
kept getting
watched.
worse and worse. Like the stuff would happen and she was blacked out basically. And then she got to the
Listen,
point where she was
I
in a
needed
dream
her.
state.
Yeah. I needed her to grow like 20 times more balls, you know, and just really just, girl, you gonna be a queen. You're gonna rule a whole Fey land. Like, you better get up there and be about it, girl. Get. And she did not. If I
No.
was, when I was 17, if they say you're gonna rule a whole land, girl, and the people are out to get you, I would have been like, what? Where the big knives? Swing! Whoa, who wants to battle with me? Who's coming for me? I gotta kill a queen. I'm a killer.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
I
she's
just
like,
feel like that.
yeah, and she's like we said, she was self-deprecating, so she automatically thought, "This is all my fault. I will internally take all the blame for this. I'm not going to kill anybody. I'll just do what I have to do and suffer. So
Yeah,
I'd rather just suffer for the rest of my life than kill someone or force Sebastian to do what he's supposed to do."
no, thank you. No,
Yeah,
thank
pass, hard pass.
But I mean, and then I guess that really, and then that goes into play with the personalities and things of that nature. Because yeah, 17, I probably would have been considered a little terrorist. You know what I mean? Like, I could terrorize the crap out of some people. Like, come on. Come on, fake king. You think you bad? You think you bad?
But I almost think that would have been more entertaining. Like, because
It would have. Like, I feel
yeah,
like that would have gave me what I needed in this storyline. I didn't get
Bree's just so
anything of what I
soft.
needed.
She's so soft, so timid. So, in the couple of times where she did stand up for herself, like when it came
It was
to,
weak.
yeah, like, but I was surprised even she was able to verbalize herself clearly to Sebastian when she was like kind of telling him, like, look, it's not going to be. We are not going to be. I was like, oh my God, look at her using words and stuff. Like,
She was trying real hard. She was
yeah.
trying really, really hard. I think, yeah, it was just disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sebastian disappointed me. Oh.
Okay, hold that thought. We're going to take a break. We're going to have a quick commercial break, you guys. By listening to those commercials, you are supporting the podcast. And while you're at it, don't forget to check out the book review journal available right now on Amazon. And when we come back, we will complete our thought on why Sebastian is so disappointing. Stay with us. Today's episode is brought to you by the Shelf Addiction merch store. Check out all the bookish t-shirts, notebooks, mugs, and more. Don't miss out on these original designs, perfect for any book nerd. Support the podcast and visit shelfaddiction.com/merch and pick up your next favorite bookish item. All right, welcome back, guys. Let's hop back to it. Samiya, why is Sebastian so disappointing?
Because he's such a little punk. He's a punk. He's a little, Can I curse?
Yes.
A little bitch boy. Oh my God. Such a little bitch.
It came out like severely at the end after his mother got him. And he was like, but Mom, I am Sealy. She like, boy, that's the problem. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what a punk. He's like,
I mean, he was paralyzed because he was drugged. His mama drugged him with her new recipe.
Yeah.
And I'm like, boy, he's such a wuss. Didn't take a play out your mama handbook. Like, you knew your mama was ruthless. Like, you got to get ruthless with a ruthless person. You got to let go. If that's not the way you want to go, you got to shut it down. You know, you can't go soft with a ruthless individual. Like, she was seeing red. She was mad. She wanted the whole court for herself. Like, boy, Mom.
She wanted both courts for herself. And that was a fail. I know. He was crying. And then his friend who was the traitor, he was like, but you were my friend. I'm like, oh my God. Like, we just got finished saying that obviously there's a traitor around you. They just got finished saying that, right? They just got finished saying.
When I tell you, I was like, throw the whole book away. Throw the whole book away. I thought he had a little bit more. I mean, he was treacherous. He was really good at lying. He was really good at deceiving. You know, they really pumped him up to be way more fierce than what he really was. He just turned out and just bitched out. I was like, oh my God, can you please pull it together?
See, it's like he was a big fish in a small pond, but his mother is the big fish in the ocean, and he wasn't prepared.
She ate him for dinner.
Yeah.
And didn't even look back. She probably would have ate him at birth if she didn't need him to get what she got.
Right. She was gonna leave him locked up and drugged for years and years to come. She didn't give two thoughts about it. She was just gonna leave him there.
I'm telling you, the savagery. You just can't be, soft and mindful when it comes to a savage. You gotta put your savage draws on.
She even kind of like throws like all the mean stuff at him. She's like, did you ever wonder why I was always leaving? It was on vacation. Did you ever wonder why I never took you with me? Like, you are whack. That's why. You are. You have
she laid it on so thick.
And you disgust me. That is basically why. Like, dang.
I was like, boy, he like
But
I get
again,
it. I was like, you was done in my book before now, but like you really done.
but that's the author. She was trying to make us like him or feel
No,
sorry for him or something. She was
it didn't
trying
work.
to evoke something, and it did not work for me either.
It didn't work. It didn't work at all. I wanted Abrielle to kill him.
Oh, it would have been nice,
And
but
she wouldn't.
mm-mm.
Like, I feel like he should have been first on the list as she went to find out all the things in the land of Fae.
But the only reason why that wouldn't work, and the author set it up so that it couldn't be that way, because he had stolen the crown. She
She had
needed the
crown.
crown,
Yep.
and it needed to be gifted. You could not kill someone to get it. It needed
Yeah.
to be freely given. And that was part of the reason, because she needed Sebastian to do that. And of course, it was to the point where he couldn't do it without giving up his life. And the author used some word switching with that.
I don't know. I would have tested the limits on that because it's like I would have felt the need to test the limit. Like, we're gonna let you within an inch of your life. We're gonna let you die and see what really happens with the crown. Is he gonna disappear? Like, am I gonna feel that surge? If I feel the surge back, then I'm gonna let you stay dead. But if not, okay, I'll do some.
But he was Faye. How
But
you
he
gonna
can't
kill
be.
him?
Yeah, you can't.
You can't.
But I'm just saying that's kind of how I would have been ready to buck the system. Like, oh, these are the rules. Oh, let's see. And he
Yeah.
would have looked at me like, oh my gosh, I don't need her on my side. Like, you can have her.
Yeah.
And then she could have had her fin the whole time.
She could have. And then I guess the part where I guess it all did come together, and I do kind of wonder if it was by chance or if the author was really plotting all the way to the end, because she just happened to be wearing a bloodstone, not the
I
other
think
stone.
I think she mapped it out
Mm-hmm.
so she could keep going in the story. But it wasn't bad.
No.
So my theory from the last book, right? My theory was, okay, she's gonna kill Sebastian, she's gonna get with Ben, and they're gonna have all these little Fae babies, and they're gonna be happily ever after, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was mad when they were on their what is that? Their little hike or whatever to the mystical world looking for, oh, what was that place? The land of no
Like the
magic.
in
What was
between
that
or
planet?
something. Yeah, it was like, yeah, I don't know.
Then they found out it had magic. I was like, oh my goodness, can y'all stop going in circles, please? Please. But I was mad because the conversation she had with Ben was like, oh, I want this. I want you. Yes, I want you. Let's do it. Is there a potion?
Yeah, is there a birth control potion basically?
Is there a potion for birth control when we get back? I was like, oh, you dumb broad. Like, shut up. You would have his baby. Shut up. Shut up.
She's
That
too
was
young.
I just feel like that was one of those precautionary mechanisms that have to be that some people feel responsible of writing into their work so that young people aren't necessarily out here being reckless or less
Which I
reckless.
appreciate, I guess. But even though she did have sex with him anyway without it, so
She did. She took that risk gung ho.
she
I
did.
mean, she could have ended up with the gift that kept on giving because he owed AF. she just gonna like.
Well, see, look, that's the thing with Faye. They always try to say in these fantasy books that I can't, like, there's nothing human that can hurt me, right? That includes all kind of inappropriate gifts that we don't want.
Or even better yet, she was so willing to dive in with him just so willy nilly. She didn't think she would have an old baby.
That's why it's different with Faye. It's like outside of the norm. You're supposed to just accept it. Like with vampires, you're just supposed to accept.
Fine. At least he was fine.
At least that.
Didn't settle for anything less. She had mad opportunity. All the old men want her.
Yeah, which is another like trope, right? Where like everyone wants this one girl. Like, what's so great about her? She's so like
Baby.
homely and blah, and
with a bad
wishy-washy.
haircut.
Yeah, with an
Yeah.
awful hair. But she's so great. She's the best thing ever. She is the best queen for this place. Everyone loves her.
Let me get one guy to just swoon over me like all them old men. Just one. I think one. Not
Now she
all them.
got three
She got,
three courts men after her. These men are chasing her down. Like,
they not just court, they old court. Like,
yeah.
they've been around a long time, and they all. Ugh.
I kind of wonder if that's why they like her so much. Like, she's so
That was.
inexperienced that they
Mhm.
would want to, you
They
know.
think that she's malleable, and they can groom her to do all the sort. Just
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
and that's another thought that continuously played in my head. What in the misogyny is going on here? I just kept saying it's ridiculous. Why? Why? But I guess that was.
Like Preetha is a straight up bisexual woman, and she could not be with her girlfriend. Instead, her girlfriend married her cousin. They're cousins, right? She's
And they
cousins with
kept
the
it in the family so good.
yeah, and then
Like,
then she went off and married a guy, had a kid in the unseelie court. I'm like, okay,
couldn't stay because she didn't want to be nobody's. Oh, that was with the girl. She couldn't stay because she didn't want to be nobody's mistress. I'm
yeah,
like, well, girl, she had issues. Well, they all had issues. You know,
hmm
it was a lot. I was like, who else related up in here?
it was a lot. I mean, it was a lot of
Keep it in the family.
drama. Like, it was a lot of family drama, court drama, a lot of like just young people drama. It's like you
Hmm.
almost forget how old these men are because of the level of
They play down right to Bree's
yeah.
12-year-old self.
Okay, 16. Let's not
Was she not 12? Okay.
16
Okay,
or
let me.
17. Is she 16 or 17? I don't know which one she
I think
is.
17.
Oh
Don't give me
no.
the line. Listen. Let me quit. I'll stop saying 12.
She wasn't that young. But still, when you got someone that's over 100, you got someone that
She
is
seemed like
17, that is like a huge difference in maturity and experience. So, I mean, honestly, like me
ew,
personally,
ew.
like I try to like let the stuff go with vampires and other and fae. I try to let it go. I really do because I know it's only fantasy, right? It's fantasy. But I always find books refreshing when the heroine is like 35. You 35 and you want to deal with a 100-year-old dude? Okay, fine. You have 35 years of experience.
Because that means she's had the time to develop. She's had the ability to become more comfortable in that development and
Mhm.
remain and be just to be
Comfortable
in
in her own
herself,
skin. Yeah.
in being themselves. So I feel like an older um, age gap is way more appropriate than this seemingly young and
'Cause she's so young, she doesn't
huge
even know
gap.
herself yet. She doesn't know herself. All she's lived for is for her sister.
Mhm,
She's struggling in a lot of ways, and it's like
mhm,
the last thing you need and to be fair, the author did say through Bree, I don't trust anybody. I don't even
mhm,
really want anybody. Although
mhm.
she was doing things that were counteractive to that, she's saying one thing and doing something else, but
Yes,
I
yes.
guess at least she put it out there, but I don't know. So it's like I really try to let that stuff go and not nitpick it, but it's in my brain. I'm like,
It
that
was
guy,
them.
they're old?
That just kept on irking me throughout there. She's like, "Oh," and his lip crashed on mine. I'm like, "Oh, them old Mississippi six." That old man gotcha. But he was supposed to
Mhm.
be youthful looking and fine. Kinda like, I just kept on, like, how did they just don't age?
I
I
don't
thought that
know.
was a vampire thing.
But see, I think they age, but they depending on whose lore you're going by, right? So I think they age, but at a much slower rate, kind of like you sometimes hear about werewolves. Like werewolves don't stop aging, but they age so slowly they look younger for longer. So that's how I think the
But
Fays
they
in
can
this world are.
but they can still potentially look old though.
Yes,
Like Finn
after a
didn't look
thousand
old.
years,
Well,
he
it
wasn't.
wasn't 1,000 years, but
No, but you could look old
Mhm.
as you old get as the centuries pass, not decades, centuries.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll give them that. I'll give her that. Yeah, you can have
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like you kind of have to like really pull your mind out of the real world to like kind of accept at face value some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But I think though, with that said, even though there were things I didn't like about how she managed Bree's emotional maturity and stuff like that, or lack thereof, she was consistent, I think, about her not trusting, not wanting to trust, trying to be more, have more self preservation. I think she was trying for it.
I think she did a better job um in the second book than she did in the first book. Because I don't know. I just feel like in the first book she was like, "Oh, I gotta do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter." Well, she was reckless at times in this book as well.
She was.
But I feel like it was a necessary reckless. So I think she developed in that sense of being more aware of when she's being reckless and when, because
Mm-hmm.
she consciously, she said, when she went into the burning building. So baby Seer had told her like, "Oh, don't go into the building, it burns, whatever, you
Mm-hmm.
know." And she was like, "Oh, but these children, they're gonna die. If I don't go into this building, I gotta get in this building, just, you know." So it was more of her actually taking the time to consider both things.
Mm-hmm.
Where before, she would not have taken the time to consider both things. She just would have went gung ho. But
Mm-hmm.
now she's thinking more balanced, I want to say.
Although still sometimes to her detriment. So, like you said, with that fire, when she came out, Micah was like, "The fuck? Okay,
Don't go back in there. We need
yeah,
you.
we
You're
need you.
important.
We're
Mhm.
gonna figure that last little kids out, but you know, you have a bigger purpose. Don't go in there." And she did. And then even later, where there was a time where she needed her power to save herself, and
She didn't
because
use
she
it.
knew that she was tied to Finn in that
Mhm.
way, she didn't pull from it. He was mad. He's like, "How
He's
dare
so
you
mad
not
about that.
defend yourself, trying to protect me?"
I
Like,
respect Ben for that, for real,
yeah.
because I respect him for that because he was like, "I don't care what I have to go through. Like, you don't not use your power just because I'm tethered to you. That has
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with it. If you need the power, use it, period."
Mm-hmm.
And she was kinda like, "What?" And he's like, "Use it."
He's
Can
like,
you
"Girl, you
imagine
crazy."
can you imagine that old man voice?
But that she needed to hear that because it did save her in the end, because she
It
was
did,
willing to use his power to, like, kind of pull some from him, so she was able to get her shadow self to pop out. But I'm
but she
like,
was
I
able to
couldn't.
be the queen.
Yeah, she was. But that whole time she had that whole, she always values herself less than everyone else. She consistently did that through the whole book. And I think there was only one line where she was like, "Yes, I think this feels right. I'm supposed to be the queen. This feels right." Only one time did she say
Oh
that.
my goodness. Did I miss that? Was that at the very end?
It was. It was at the end. Yeah, when she was, I can't remember exactly the scene, but she kind of just said, "Yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing."
I
I
must
think it when
miss
she was
that
talking to
sentence.
Maeve or something, and Maeve was like, she asked her a question about like what she wanted, and she's like, "I want to help
Oh,
this kingdom. I want
I want peace. Yeah.
peace. I want
Yeah. Okay,
to
that
help."
con yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
that what was the only time she really like accepted and welcomed the responsibility, right? Even though she was still scared. You can be scared and do it anyway. But the other outside of that, she was always second class citizen. "Oh, you come first. You I don't want to hurt Finn. I don't want to hurt Sebastian. I don't want to.
Like, girl,
I am the cause of all this
it's
misery.
all my fault. Ugh, I
Yes,
was so eh, I was so tired of hearing that. If
yeah,
it wasn't for me, like, girl, can
I
you
know.
get over that right now,
Mm-mm.
please? Get
It
over
took a
that.
lot. So, and then okay, so one more thing. I just a nitpick. So I understand, and I appreciated Finn again for being older and recognizing that she should not go and attach herself to someone else very quickly, to not merge with someone else in that way right away. So they waited 6 months. They could have waited 6 years, to be honest. They didn't
Mhm.
need to do that because he said he was going to be there no matter what. They're tethered, right? She didn't need a bond on top of tethering to him. I'm like, why can't you just enjoy your
'Cause she
jollies?
greedy.
Look,
She
enjoy your jollies. He's there by your side every day greeting the people.
No, but if you know you can have, like, all the jollies and know all the tea in somebody, like,
See,
you're not gonna
that's
settle
her not
for
being a good queen because she should have
she's
wanted
a
all the
kid.
power. She wanted if I were her, I would want my power and yours. But I'm not gonna be like, come share power with me right away. I don't know
I
you enough, dude.
know.
We gotta wait. We gotta wait.
No, but that's because but she was calling everybody her best friend, so if you my best friend, we've been in this for, like,
He should have
was it
denied
maybe a
her.
year now? What was it, a year now?
Look,
I don't
they
know,
only waited
whatever.
6 months for that ceremony. He should have said, we gotta wait longer. That would have been the responsible thing to do.
But he didn't wanna wait. He wanted to be all
He's like,
swimming in the
whatever you wish, princess and my queen. If you say it, sure, I'll do it.
Boo, I can't. No.
All right, be responsible, sir. Be
No, thank you.
responsible.
But I would've went that way. I would have kept it in the one way so I could use his power, like,
Yeah, at least for a little while, like just until,
probably for a long time
yeah, like
because she's not gonna age now because she's
no,
Faye.
she's Faye, he's
But
Faye.
so I would have been like, well, I'm gonna go get me a young cookie too, since you out here. I'm gonna go get me a young little snapper. Let me.
I mean, honestly, they could have carried on like that for a decade, and they would have been perfectly happy. She did not
Mhm.
have to tie himself like that to him so quickly.
I
And
think
I
she
wish
had to
she
though.
hadn't. Why
I
did
think
she
she
have
had
to?
to because she needed to feel all his emotions.
That's
She
some
needed
child
to
shit. See, again,
feel
that's some child
everything that
stuff.
he was going
No,
through.
no, you
She
don't.
needed to feel
No,
his
you don't.
every moment,
No,
every waking moment. She needed to feel him in his.
no. That's some childlike stuff. Like, no, you don't.
I would have.
She didn't like it when she was tied to Sebastian like that. She was actively trying to block him out. Oh, speaking of
Was
that,
Sebastian? Yeah.
speaking of that, real quick, Sebastian was totally manipulating her the whole time they had the bond, because every time he felt that she was up to something that he didn't like, he would project this extreme grief
Oh,
and
that
emotion.
pain and grief. Yeah,
Yes, I'm like, you are manipulating her because you don't have to do that.
he knew he could do it, so he did it.
Yeah, and then
He was
she's
like,
like,
"Oh, you gonna feel this?
I'm so pain. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
all the pain." I'm like, girl,
you gonna feel this?" Cool.
exactly. And that's why I'm like, I would have recognized that for what it was. And again, maybe that's youth. Maybe I'm just old now, so I've been like, you trying to manipulate me, and you
I'd
not
be
gonna
like, every
win.
time I kiss this man, I
Look,
be in pain for
look.
real.
You know what?
Bruh.
I would be that person, like out of just vengeance. We'd be effing all around town, everywhere. I'd be letting it all out, and he gonna feel the pain because I be having the best time. I'm not gonna let you intimidate me like this. I already told you what's up. I'm gonna show you.
Are we going through this?
We go. Guess who's gonna win? I'm gonna win.
I'm gonna keep score too. Me one, me two, me three.
But see, that's like, again, her being so young, right? She's like,
Mhm.
thinks about it like, oh, he's in so much pain. I
Mhm.
said, "He know what he's doing. He knows what he's doing to you. He's manipulating you. You don't
I
even
thought
know."
that got on my nerves. I was like, "Oh my god, girl, like, you about to get some fin, like, what are you doing?" Like, "I can't." Like, "Oh my
Mm-mm.
god,
Look, it's
please,
called Who
please."
Has the Strongest Willpower? I do. I will. You are going to feel all of this like you're in the room and you're going to run away crying.
You about to know what goes down, and you're not gonna be able to sit well with that, but but I think
Exactly.
it was kind of, um, admirable in a sense for Finn to, kinda respect that border that she had when it came to Sebastian. So, it was a lot of times I think he did it out of, jealousy, but it was just honorable in the sense that he could, portray that level of respect because of her
Restraint.
bond. Well, restraint, that's a better word.
I
That's a
don't know
better
if it's
word.
respect. I think he's also just jealous. He
That's a
also
better
said,
word.
I want all the things.
Oh,
He said,
you
I
know
want all the
what?
things.
I think because I think he was I don't think he wanted to be compared, in all honesty, because what if Ben was to really just put it on her, just ooh, 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 and then Sebastian be like, and then they be all mad at each other because Sebastian's like, oh, like, you know what I mean? Like, what if
That would
he
be
just didn't
perfect
want to
for
be
the adult version of this
compared?
book. Rewrite it
Or just
for adults, and that would be perfect.
that if I rewrote this for adults, I would do so many things that it would be
Yeah.
for real dark romance, and they
I
would be getting it
mean,
in.
it'd be more like Sarah J. Maas's latest book about Nesta. They'd be effing around town everywhere, breaking shit. It'd be wild because she want to just stick it to Sebastian.
Let's christen the park bench. Let's do that.
Yeah.
No, but and yeah, I just thought about that. I was like, that would be fun, like
Mm, why not?
to read about. Like that would be
Hmm.
fun. Like how would Sebastian really respond to that? Like would he go into a jealous
He
rage?
cried to his
Like,
mommy.
but at that point in time, we didn't know he was gonna cry to his mommy. So I was kind of thinking, like, would he go into a rage with that
He
jealousy?
might.
Like,
He would be in a rage and tear down everything at the castle. It would come in, look like a hurricane came through. He'd be like, have a hissy fit.
he'd be there all by himself. I don't know, but that just threw me for a loop. See how much of a little bit. Uh,
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, but
So we're almost at the hour. Can you believe it?
oh my goodness, that
So
was so quick.
let's quickly talk about the audiobook. I know you listened a little bit. I
It
love
did
the
not.
audiobook. I actually really enjoyed this narrator. I thought like I could tell the difference between her voice for Finn and Sebastian. Could you?
I know Finn sound more refined.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know. I feel like she's a little better than the last one, but it got kind of yeah. She's better than the last one. The last one was horrible.
Yeah, I think she was pretty good. I enjoyed it and I was able to listen like I said on 2x speed, which is I think that's
That's really
becoming
fast.
more my normal now. Is 2x speed.
Oh my goodness, how do you digest that?
Carefully. So, like for example, by carefully I mean when I'm listening that fast, I can't be doing anything else. So
See, I mean,
I'm in the car when I'm listening that fast. I can't be like usually I'll listen on audio and do emails or listen and do this, but if I'm listening at that speed, I can't be doing anything else.
I might mess around and run somebody over, and that's it. I'm trying to process.
Oh no. But see, it just
I
takes
already
like
know
a couple
now.
minutes. Like, so for example, if you just, I don't want to tell you, just try it. But for me, when I just, when I
Just do
start,
it.
right, when I start at 2x, I usually inch it up. I start at 1.5, 1.75, then I hit 2. And it just takes about 3 or 4 minutes and then I'm in it. It's like, it's fine. It just takes a couple of minutes for it to sink in.
I've noticed that when I do go faster, I will have to backtrack because I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like something will catch me off guard, and then I'll have to go back, and
You
then
rewind. Yeah.
yeah.
But that can happen
But I think
sometimes depending on the narrator and
Mhm,
what's going on. If there's a lot of action,
mhm.
sometimes you might have to slow it down. I've done that before if there's a
Well,
lot of
n
action.
yeah, I've done that. But I guess I'm not a fast listener,
That's fine.
you know?
Yeah,
You know? It's a lot of us out here in the world.
I know. So let's rate the thing. Let's rate the book.
Eh,
We are going to finish the duology with our rating. So this is what I want to do. We don't usually do this, but I think it'll be fun. Rate this book as its own individual thing and then rate the duology as a whole. 1 to 5, no halves
um, I think I'm a solid 2.
on this book specifically.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. On this book. I just needed so much more and I didn't get it. I did
Okay.
not get it. And it only got a 2 because it was consistent. Like, it kept moving. It didn't sit still. I probably would have went worse than that, but I
Okay.
didn't get what I needed.
That's fair. That's fair. And would you rate both books together?
Both books together. 1 star, do not recommend.
Yikes. Yikes.
I wouldn't
Okay.
suggest anybody do this.
Okay, that's fair. So my rating. I would give These Twisted Bonds a 3 out of 5. Again, I thought it was fine. A 3 out of 5 is in my fine zone, right? Like, I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was fine. So it comes in middle of the road. So the series as a whole, the duology, both books, I would also put it as a 3. It was fine. I
Really?
think, yeah, it was fine. I think that it's got its place. And by that, I mean,
Some kids
now,
gonna love it.
yeah, I think younger people will like it and people who do not want anything too heavy. You know what I mean?
I'm
So,
not
like,
worried about
I know. So I feel like it's got its place. I feel like it's a light, summery, fun read without too much brain power being used.
Okay,
It's an
yeah.
easy story. It's not too intense. The romance is like really bland, like to the fact where, like you don't have to worry about who's going to hear me listening to this audiobook or
True. No. Yes. Yes.
it's fine. It's right in the middle. But would I recommend this? I would never say to someone, oh, that duology was so good, you've got to read it. No, that would never come out of my mouth.
I don't recommend.
Yeah. And if someone is looking for something similar to Akatar, I would say don't read this because this is, while some of the themes are similar with how the two men in the triangle work, you're going to be disappointed if you want the heat that Sarah J. Maas provides. That is not here. If you want the watered down version, here you go.
This is the diet version.
Yeah.
You want a
Yeah.
diet. This is for you.
And I think the younger you are in this genre, not even as a person, but as a reader. So let's say you don't read a lot of this kind of book. I think someone who wants to dip their toe into fantasy, romance, YA would like it because they don't have a lot to compare it to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I can agree with that. I will never suggest it to anyone.
That's fair. All right, I think we're done for today. What do you think?
Yes.
Well, thanks again for doing this. I would love to have you back on if you're up for it.
It's been fun. We shall pick another one.
Yay, awesome. Thanks for tuning in. If you are still hearing the sound of my voice, don't forget to subscribe and like the podcast before you leave. And I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, take care of yourselves. Bye, guys. If you enjoyed today's episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a positive 5-star review, or like this episode on your favorite podcast player. It seems so simple, but it really helps me out. You can share this podcast with other book nerd friends or on your favorite social media space. You can also join the Shelf Addiction Patreon family. For as little as $2 a month, you will help us produce even more awesome content for your ears. You can also consider joining the Shelf Addiction official Facebook group where we talk all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction Podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. You can also reach us via email at info@shelfaddiction.com. Thank you for listening.